Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome to Friendship Shaving. I hope you all enjoy today's shave. I'm just putting on a little bit of my Parasso pre-shave, and as usual I will let that sit for a few moments while I talk to you about the items I'm going to be using today. I'm not going to be using one of the new Byron Shaving Company bowls for reasons that will make themselves obvious in just a moment. However, I am going to be using the Fine Art shaving brush from the Byron Shaving Company with an incredibly soft badger knot in there, silver tip knot. So we'll just pop that in a drop of water and let that soak for a moment. Going to be using some Tabac today, and this is the non-tallow version of Tabac. Got the box that it came in here, and it says it's potassium stearate, sodium stearate, potassium laurate and sodium laurate, glycerin, aqua, parfum, and a few various other items in there. So I can tell you straight away, because I have compared it with my tallow version. I've had it up to my nose and it does smell very slightly different. It is obviously the same scent, but there is just something a little bit different. Really, you can only tell that in a direct comparison, you know, sticking your nose from one to the other. So that's what I'm going to be shaving with today. The razor I'm going to be using is my Karve Christopher Bradley razor. Haven't used this for a very long time. I'll talk about that more as we get into the shave. But the razor blade I'm going to be using is a Statum razor blade, or a Statum razor blade. It is a platinum chrome sputtered blade made in India. But on the front of the box here, right there, it says UK Tech. Now, I've not heard of them before, so I will be looking it up after this shave. I've just noticed that in the last few moments. And on the front of the packet here, it says it's made from Japanese steel. So there we are. UK Tech, made in India from Japanese steel. So let's get going, shall we? I'm going to dip my Tabac soap into my water. I'm going to add a drop more water just to my face. And I'll start rubbing that onto my bristles. And obviously we'll be face lathering today. This does have that quite strong scent that one associates with opening up a new puck of Tabac. Definitely picking out a little bit of lavender in this. So the notes are pepper, bergamot and petitgrain in the top notes. Carnation, lavender and geranium in the middle notes, so definitely some florality there. With some woods in the base notes, we've got sandalwood, musk and vetiver. Now let me just squeeze out the knot, and we'll just start working this into the soap. This is a very soft, fluffy brush, incredibly so actually. And it is a new brush sent to me by John from the Byron Shaving Company. I like the handle on this, a very unusual design. I asked John how he made it, and he said it was painted with acrylic, with parts wiped off and parts sanded. And then when he got it to look how he wanted it, it was all sealed. So a fine art brush. And when I talk about acrylic, we talk about plastics, don't we, when we say the word acrylic. So does acrylic paint have some kind of plasticity or plastic in it? I'm really unsure. I know nothing about acrylic paint, but now I can tell you this is going to take a drop of water. I'm using the brush quite lightly. You know, I've not splayed it all the way out, there's no need to. I want to use the soft ends of the brush as much as I can, so it feels nice. You know, it's strange, but perhaps you, like me, go through periods where you enjoy bowl lathering and then all of a sudden, without seemingly much thought, you suddenly find yourself enjoying face lathering. There we are. That is a nice easy to lather soap. I'm not doing a direct comparison with the Tabac. Maybe I'll do that another day, because obviously it would mean that I would have to lather up one side of my face with the tallow version and lather up the other side of my face with the non-tallow version. Perhaps we'll do that one day. So I have got my Karve Christopher Bradley. I have to say, they have some lovely razors on the Karve website. This is all brass. It looks nice now, but I have to say that I don't like brass. As a finish for the razor, of course, the vintage Gillette razors were constructed from brass, but then they were finished with a nickel plating to give them some, well, to give them a nice finish, a finish that doesn't tarnish so easily, and a finish that is a little bit stronger and more resistant to damage than brass is. What I don't like about brass is just that it oxidises, and it oxidises quickly. And on this one, it's been left in my cupboard since I last polished it up, and I found that the oxidation wasn't even on the head cap, and a few places there were actual spots where the oxidization really started to take hold. I find that when it's polished, brass shaves very nicely. But with that oxidization, I feel that there's some resistance on the skin, that the surface of the metal is not so smooth. And I know with the quality of soaps that are available, you maybe don't notice that, but primarily it is the look of the oxidized brass that I really don't like. I know some of you guys really enjoy that look. But it is not for me. So, in order to try and limit that and keep the shine for as long as possible, I've polished it with a metal polish to remove the oxidation, and then I further polished it with my Renaissance wax polish. There we are, appointment to Her Majesty, and this forms a microcrystalline finish, a hard finish. It's used in the British Museum among other places, and can be used on all sorts of materials. And hopefully it will mean that this razor remains in this shiny state for quite a good long while. Let me show you my rubber set 400 a moment. I have it here. Now this is an aluminium brush, and aluminium oxidizes much in the same way that brass does, and I last covered this with Renaissance wax about 2 years ago, and you can see that it is still really shiny. And looking nice. So, excuse me. I don't see why that should not work for my brass razor as well. Now the plate I'm using today I'm just putting water on my face. This is very slick soap. Yeah, superbly so. Do you know, I think I'm going to have to do a direct comparison, guys, at some point, to see which is the most slick, which version of Tabac gives the most comfort, etc., etc. We should try that at some point. Very nice knot on that brush, absolutely lovely. I'll put the link, excuse me coughing guys. I'm very dry and it's just catching me down there. Now the plate I am using today is plate B. Now the Karve Christopher Bradley plates start at AA. And that one has a 0.47 blade gap and a negative exposure of 0.07 millimeters. That would be a very mild razor indeed. The next step up from that is A, and we go up to 0.60 blade gap with a negative blade exposure of 0.02. And then we step up to plate B, which is this one, and that is a 0.73 blade gap with a neutral exposure. Zero exposure, neither positive or negative. And this feels like a very nice, comfortable, but a mild shave. After plate B, plate C, D, E and F, and I think G is the most aggressive plate, but after the plate that I'm using today, they start to have a positive exposure. So that the blade will stick out past that imaginary line between the head cap and the guard, and will just sit into the skin a little bit more as you go up through the letters of the alphabet. Finding on this, the angle seems to be about 45 degrees rather than the usual 30, or at least that's what it feels like as I'm going through the motions here. With beam brass, it is a little bit of a heavy razor, and I've got the 3.5 inch handle on mine. Now I have a full set of, I don't quite have a full set. I don't have the AA and the A plate, but I have all the other plates, I think. And nowadays they do what they call a daily shaver's kit on the Karve website for this razor, and that is 175 Canadian dollars for the B, C and D plates. And this is the original head, so there is a little bit of blade sticking out either side. There is a wider version which does away with that. Stainless steel version of that daily shaver kit is $290, so a lot more expensive. Do you know, I do wonder, guys, and perhaps some of you that know about metals will be able to answer this question as I was unable to find out which is heavier, stainless steel or brass. That's the question. Answers on a postcard or in the comments section would be even better. Do you know, anyone my age, I guess, would have a memory of having some brass ornaments in your parents' house growing up, and it was a monthly occurrence for us to get the brasso out, and my mum, myself and my sister would have to polish the brass. And I have to say, I don't really remember my mum doing much. She was the foreman. My sister and I were the workers. There was no union back then. There was always a groan when it was brass polishing day. Oh, I hated it, guys. But that is a nice shave. I did nick myself there. Yeah, I think I need to go to the C plate. I'd love to know about the which is heaviest, the stainless steel or the brass, because of course, as I've just said, there's a stainless steel version of this razor. Not so sure I'd like to get it if it's heavier than this one. It's a little bit heavy for me, but it's quite a nice weight, quite a nice heaviness. So yeah, I'd be interested to find that out, because honestly guys, brass is not for me. Now that, I've had a nice shave, but I definitely could go. I've had a very nice shave, definitely could go with the C plate. The Tabac seemed to work very well. This non-tallow version, as you would expect it to work very well. It seems to be burning me a little bit. So now that was, I've had a good shave, but it was a mild razor, so one assumes that it's the soap rather than the razor blade itself. It's particularly around here, the softer areas, which is just making me wonder, you know, maybe the skin is more sensitive than these sort of areas. I'm not sure about that. I like these blades. That was a very comfortable shave with a blade I've not used before. I was no doubt kindly sent these by somebody at some point, and I've discovered them in my little box today. So if you sent me those, thank you very much. They're a nice blade. Now I'm going to use my Tabac Craftsman. I do think this is absolutely smashing, this Craftsman. If they did the soap in this scent, I'd be all over it. Oh yeah, I'm definitely a bit stingy. I'm going to have to do that direct comparison between the two soaps. Now that's it from me, guys. You look after yourselves. Thanks for being a part of my shave today. All the very best, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now.